Hey guys, yet another week, yet another controversy. And in this case, it's fortunately just a bunch of people that are entirely uninformed, just getting upset for really no reason. In case you haven't heard, people are so angry and so mad that Hellblade 2 is only about 5 hours long, maybe as long as 7 hours if you 100% the game. And I got to keep it real with you, Chief. This is one of those controversies where I just don't get it because Ninja Theory, the guys making the game, have been very open about the length of the game. I mean, really, the longest I ever saw anybody say this game could be was 9 hours. But most people said it was around 7 hours, if not a little bit shorter. So I really have no idea what people were expecting going into the game. And as somebody that just put 3 hours into Hellblade 2, and just a couple days ago, I played through the entirety of Hellblade 1, and that entire game only took me about 4.5 hours. I don't think these people know what the fuck they're talking about. I'm pretty sure all of these people are grossly misinformed and they did not even play the first game because a big complaint I'm also seeing is that oh my god, the game is mostly a walking sim with some puzzles and some combat. Man, that's crazy. You know what the first game was? Mostly a walking sim with some puzzles and some combat. So I really I don't understand the controversy here. There's some people that are saying, oh, $50 for a 5 hour game is crazy. My brother in Christ, it's day one Game Pass. Just play it on Game Pass like every other person. Like people are making a big deal that there's only 3,000 people playing it on Steam, peak. And it's like, yeah, why would anybody it was the same with Starfield, right? It's the same with Persona 3 Reload. It's the same with all of these day one Game Pass games. Why Hi-Fi Rush, right? Why would you buy the game if you can just play it on Game Pass? Now, maybe there's an argument for something like Starfield because if it's something you're going to be playing over, Starfield ended up being bad, but let's say hypothetically Starfield was of the quality and content amount of something like Skyrim, right? Where people put hundreds and hundreds, if not well over 1,000 hours into it. Okay, that makes more sense to me to buy it on, something like Steam because then you have the easy modability and eventually, it's like $15 a month for Game Pass. Eventually, if you're playing the game enough over the course of like a year or something, it's going to be more cost effective for you to just have purchased, Starfield than get it on Game Pass. But, a lot of these games, that's not the case. Another Crab's Treasure, Persona 3 Reload, Hellblade 2, a lot of these like day one Game Pass games, they're one and done, man. There's nothing really more to it. Maybe Persona 3 is a two and done if you don't 100% your first playthrough or you just want to do new Game Plus for some reason. But, you know, a lot of these are one and done titles. And that's what Game Pass is awesome about. Like, that's what I think the strength of Game Pass is that it allows games like this to exist and it allows people to play them for very, very cheap. So I don't really understand this controversy here because on one hand, people are complaining about the content of the game and the fact that, it's a walking sim with some combat and puzzles. Those people have clearly never played the first fucking game. Those people are just idiots. Let's be honest. They're just absolute morons. So we can throw away those complaints. The next complaints is, oh, the actual price of the game, the $50. Well, those people are also morons because you can just play it on Game Pass. And if you're one of those people that's anti Game Pass, I'm going to keep it real, Chief. You're just not very smart. Game Pass is fantastic. For a very long time, Game Pass has been the best deal in video game history. I made a video about this years upon years ago, and it still holds true. Game Pass is the greatest deal in video game history. The fact that you can spend $15 and you can get access to well over 100 fantastic games. Like there's a lot of really, really good games there is insane value. And even if you're only picking it up for a month every now and then when a big game like Hellblade 2 comes out or Persona 3 Reload comes out, right? Or another Crab's Treasure comes out, even if you're only picking it up around those times of the year, which is what I personally do, then you're getting a fantastic deal. And I just don't really understand the hatred towards Game Pass. If you don't want to play something on Game Pass, you're one of those people that really wants to own your game. Like that's just in your head. Well, first of all, I would say, as we've seen with The Crew and Ubisoft, if you own a game, you don't actually own a game. Okay, let's get that out of the way. You just own the license to play that game. And at any point in time, that can be entirely revoked from you. And they won't go back on it. That shit will just be gone. So, really, anything in your Steam library, for example, you do not own. That is the illusion that you own it, but you don't at all own it, right? As we've seen in the past. So I don't really know. I don't understand this controversy. And I have to say, after playing 3 hours of Hellblade 2, I think the game is really good. Of course, it's niche, just like the first one was, but I'm enjoying it significantly more than the first game. I'm really liking the setting of the game. I like the story that they've set up, and I think they've improved the puzzles. I think they've improved the obviously the graphics are fantastic. I'm not really a big graphics person though. They've improved the combat significantly. Um, yeah, I'm gonna keep it real, man. I think the game is currently for me sitting at like an 8 out of 10. I'm really enjoying my experience with it. And the first Hellblade, I only gave a 6.5 out of 10 because I thought it was a bit better than average, but it wasn't really approaching good for me just because I wasn't super invested in the story and the puzzles started to get a little tedious. I have not had that tedium at all in the second game now, so I'm actually enjoying it quite a bit. But of course, if I spent $50 for it, then I most definitely may feel as if I'm being ripped off. So, as you can see on the Steam list, though, with only 3,000 people playing it, most people are not doing that. Most people are not going to buy it on Steam. Now, if you want to have a conversation about, oh, these games are not getting sales because of the fact that, they're day one Game Pass, and maybe that's what's causing some of this studio foreclosures, that the games are, not getting purchased. Now, that's a conversation I would love to have, and I am planning on making a future video about the downsides of Game Pass, and that is a very real reality that we could be facing. But in terms of getting upset about Hellblade 2 being exactly like Hellblade 1, you're an idiot. And then in terms of being upset that it's $50, just play it on Game Pass, brother. Just play it on Game Pass, Before I understood those, if it was something that was coming out on PlayStation as well, I was like, okay, I can understand the PlayStation people being upset because they don't have access to Game Pass. But like with Persona 3 Reload, for example. But come on, bro. It's on Game Pass. Just play it on fucking Game Pass or shut the fuck up. It's really that simple. Anyway, that'll do it for me. Thanks for stopping by. Have a fantastic rest of your day, everybody. And I'll see all of you in the next video or Stream Moroni, where I'll probably be finishing Hellblade 2. Bye bye.